So today we're going to look at Psalm 27, but maybe a little differently, not just as beautiful poetry, but as a practical, hands-on training manual, a real guide for developing a steadfast heart, for finding stability when life gets, well, really loud.
You know that feeling, right? One minute you're feeling strong, and the next you are just being brutally honest with yourself about how much you're struggling. And then you're trying to land on some kind of hope. This whole explainer is about how to find your footing in the middle of that very real, very human cycle.
Okay, let's just dive right in. We're going to treat this like a real training session. First, we'll talk about that emotional whiplash. Then we'll get into a 3-step manual right from the psalm. We'll look at the real battleground, your heart, and confront 4 huge lies that attack it. After that, a practical stability workout, and we'll finish with your first faithful step.
So, first things first, we have to get our starting point right. See, how you frame your struggles, where you begin your day, actually determines how much power those struggles have over you.
You know, the principle here is actually incredibly simple. When you wake up and your mind just immediately defaults to your stress, your conflict, your lack, that problem becomes the sun in your solar system. Everything revolves around it. It gets bigger, louder, more powerful. The key is shifting that starting point before you even start trying to tackle the problem. So how do we actually do that? Well, Psalm 27 gives us this really clear 3-part training exercise. It's a way to reorient our focus, to kind of anchor ourselves before we try to solve anything. These are the 3 foundational practices. And look, this isn't about ignoring reality. It's about establishing a greater reality first. We start by noticing who God is, then what He has done, and finally, what He has promised. Let's break each of those down.
Step 1 starts right here. When your mind is just foggy and chaotic, filled with all kinds of noise and confusion, God doesn't meet you in the fog. He is light. He brings clarity. He brings truth. He just cuts right through all that noise.
And second, God is salvation. This is absolutely huge. He's not just a sympathetic friend who pats you on the back and says, "Oh, that's tough." No, He's an active rescuer. He saves, He delivers, He actually acts on your behalf.
And finally, God is a stronghold. I mean, think of a fortress, a high tower, a totally impenetrable refuge. This isn't some flimsy little shelter. It is the safest place you could possibly be when you feel unsafe or under attack.
Now let's move to step 2 because this builds on everything else. The shift here is just massive. The goal isn't to look back and try to build confidence in our own resilience or our own strength. It's to look back and build confidence in God's perfect track record of faithfulness.
This is where this idea of receipts comes in. Your history of God's grace isn't just a collection of nice stories. It's evidence. It's a receipt proving His faithfulness. I mean, actually make a list, a specific God did list. God did not let me drown. God gave me one safe person. God carried me one more day. Those receipts, that's your strength. Okay, now for step 3. And this can be the hardest one. Holding on to His promises. Which, yeah, often involves waiting. But notice the language here. Waiting isn't presented as something passive or like a punishment. It's paired with be strong and take courage. So waiting is actually an active part of the training. Okay, so we have the what of our training. But where does this battle even take place? It happens in the heart. And to win, we have to understand what the heart truly is, not what the world tells us it is. Our culture tells us the heart is all about our fleeting feelings, our personal truth, right? But biblically, the heart is like the mission control center for your entire life. It's where your thoughts, your desires, your trust, and ultimately your worship all come from. The battle isn't for your mood, it's for your control center. So if the battle is for the heart, then we need to know the enemy's primary weapons. In times of pressure, there are 4 specific lies that get very, very loud. Let's expose them.
Here's lie number 1. It whispers that safety is found in your ability to manage every single outcome. But the truth of Psalm 27 comes right at it. God is your stronghold. True safety is never found in your control, but in being held by His. Lie number 2 just screams for a quick fix. It creates this false urgency, telling you that there's no way you can endure this. But the truth? Any relief that costs you obedience will always charge you interest later. The real path is to seek the Lord, not the shortcut.
Lie number 3 says that the opinions, the accusations, or even the praise of other people, that's what forms your identity. But Psalm 27 reminds us, no, God is your light.
His voice is the one that clarifies and defines you, cutting through all the distorting noise from everyone else. And finally, the fourth lie is the lie of finality. It tells you that your mistake, your struggle, your slip-up is the end of the story. But the truth of the gospel is the exact opposite. It's not never struggle. It's Christ saves strugglers who repent and just keep coming back.
So how do we fight these lies in a really practical way? We need a workout. I mean, think of this as a workout for your spiritual core. And, core strength is what keeps you from collapsing when life puts weight on you.
This lays out the path to strength, and it starts small. The 1-pound rep is just saying the truth out loud. God is my light, my salvation, my stronghold. The 5-pound rep is taking one small faithful action. Maybe you pray, you tell the truth, you ask for help. And the 10-pound rep, that's bringing it into the light by calling someone before the situation completely takes over.
All right, let's pull all of this together into a simple, repeatable framework that you can use this week, this afternoon, even in the next 5 minutes when pressure hits.
This is it. This is the whole training manual in a nutshell. When you feel that pressure mounting, just stop and run through these 3 questions. Who is God? He is my light, salvation, and stronghold. What has He done? Look at your receipts. What has He promised? That He'll strengthen me and I will see His goodness. And then, based on those truths, you take one small step of obedience. Not an impressive one, a faithful one.
So, that's the final question for you. Forget about fixing everything all at once. What is the one small, faithful step of worship, that 1-pound rep, that 5-pound rep that you can take right now based on the truth of who God is?